am Justin Miller, Account Relationship Manager with North Central Co-op. I'm standing here next to a cornfield in Marshall County today to discuss western bean cutworm. We've recently found some damage in corn that we would expect to have control from this particular pest, being that it was a traded corn either with the Smart Stacks trait, or I would call it a double pro that would have the Herculex trait from Dow AgroSciences put in with it. In this region, we've seen some feeding, and from the trap counts, we've had realized that we've been in the hotbed for western bean cutworm flights. So we're looking for egg masses in the plant. So we're going to be up here in the top part of the canopy, and normally on a taller plant you're going to be looking up, but we're going to be looking in this region up here, whether it's a newly emerged and it's going to be right at tassel time or right before that tassel comes out. Their hatch coincides right with tassel and pollination, so that's when we're going to want to be looking to find out if we could have a problem with this. And after pollination, or after they hatch, you can see it's normally about a week to 10 days before they hatch. And when we go in and look, the eggs will turn colors. They'll go from a white to a pink to a purple, and then if you're lucky you could find the first instar of the larva ready to go down, and then it comes down in and it'll hide down here in the axis of the earbud, and that's where it hides out before we get more of the ear, and it'll grow and get some feeding as well. So the life cycle of the western bean cutworm starts April, May, and June. We're looking at a pre-pupa stage, and then the adults emerge, and they're out through the June, July, and August time frame. So they'll be in a larva stage through from about the end of June, 1st of July, out to the end of September. Egg laying occurs in between June and July, the end of June to the middle of August. And then so when we look at attack to corn is going to coincide more with tassel emergence and the pollination of the corn. So that's going to happen, the 1st of July, depending on planting dates, all the way through the end of September. With the multiple points of entry that the western bean cutworm or any worm would have, it gives entry for moisture and molds to start growing. So we could be looking at Fusarium erodes, Aspergillus, Gibberella, and unfortunately that leads to vomitoxin levels that could increase. So in conclusion, right now what we need to be doing is checking our fields that are sandier and more prone to nitrogen loss, or fields that are not protected with a BT trait. And then if we find damage, we need to consider moving these fields to the top of our harvest plan to lower the risk of ear molds developing. And if there are any further questions, please feel free to contact your North Central Cooperative ARM.